What's up, everybody? And today on Improve Your Health, Game On.
It says it right at the top of the screen.
Wait. Okay, hold on.
Take two.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to Game On, Improve Your Health podcast. This is your host, Christina, and my partner here, hallucinodream, if you know him from the gaming community.
Or Austin J.
Or Austin J if you don't, or just Austin if he's your husband. Anyway, that was an A+ introduction. No need for a retake.
Perfect. That was the best introduction I've ever heard in my entire life. You got the job. You got the job. Anyways, correct. Welcome to the Game On Improve Your Health podcast. And this week is our first of many journey series. I want to start by saying I apologize for the quality. We're still on our mobile setup, so it's going to echo a little bit. As you can see, we have walls, which is the sound is bouncing off of. Great. And so we're just starting our journey series today. What is the journey series? I am very glad you asked. The journey series is going to be run periodically when we have guests on the podcast, and we're going to ask a series of questions. What brought them to their journey, right? Why they started their health and wellness journey. What is keeping them, is maintaining their journey, right? What's keeping them going, and what their future goals are, right? What their plans are. Do you have plans for the future, or you want to, be a racer, like a Spartan racer like me, or do you want to be a power lifter? Those kind of things. So in the future, I'm sure the questions for the journey are probably going to advance, make it a little better, but this is our first one, so this is the host edition.
And me being the permanent guest.
Permanent guest. You're the co-host. You're not a guest anymore.
Oh, all right.
You're a co-host. So this is the host edition, okay? So because we haven't really gone into too much detail on our journeys, what started us, especially Christina, I've talked more of myself, especially if you know me from the gaming community, right? I start my streams with my health and wellness journey every day for the first 5 to 100 minutes. So we're going to ask some questions. So we'll just start with Christina first. What made you start your health and wellness journey, right? What was the I need to start my journey? And I'm not talking about the times before. I'm talking about what made it start that really stuck, that really got you to stick.
Well, I do want to touch on kind of previously before I go into what officially made me stick to it.
Yeah, you know what? Hold on. I want you to go in what happened beforehand as well, and I'm glad I thought about that.
Yeah.
And what, really stuck. All right, perfect. And go.
Okay. So, growing up, my mom was always into doing some sort of physical activity. She always went to the gym growing up. She would go to spin classes with her friends. She would take us to the gym. My brother and I, when we got a little older, we would go to classes. We would go to the pool. We would always be doing something. And that really started us on, I think, just a healthy lifestyle, was that we were always expected to be active. We always had this kind of ingrained in ourselves that my mom took her health seriously, that she always did stuff and that was important to her. And so it really ingrained in us that fitness and working out was just part of your lifestyle. So I think that always helped. And then, as I got older, I always went to the gym on and off. I did, different classes. I did different types of gyms. I did other races. I've done 5Ks, walks, half marathons. So I've kind of always dabbled in these different physical activities. But it was always just for my physical health, to look a certain way, or to gain a little bit, or to not gain a little bit of weight, to lose a little bit of weight. So it was just very physical driven, more than overall health and mental health related. And then I got to a point when I got a little bit older. I was in my early 20s. And I had just gotten out of a very long relationship. It was almost like 5 years. And like, again, within that time, I worked out. I did, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but nothing ever really was consistent. And I found myself needing to do something for my mental health, much more than physically. I don't know if anybody has ever watched the show Revenge Body by Khloe Kardashian. I watched that a lot around that time.
I have not.
But, so like, I think it started, it always starts out physical, especially when you go through, at least for me, it always starts out physical. It always started out as, well, if we broke up, I'm going to be hot as anything. I'm going to have the best body ever, right? Like, at least for me, I always start out thinking it that way. And then it turned into so much more of like a mental health. Like, I needed that at the time to cope. And so I started running, and somebody that I worked with, this one guy was like, hey, you know what? I'm doing the Philadelphia Half Marathon and you should sign up. And I was like, okay, sure. And so it was about 3 months before, I think, maybe 3 to 4 months before, which if you've never run a half marathon, I have in the past. I've always like had some sort of running routine. So disclaimer, if you've never run before, don't sign up for a half marathon 3 months prior to it starting. But I really I dove into that, and I used that as a mental coping mechanism. And so that's really what kickstarted me on my, I guess, most recent and long-lasting fitness journey. So it was, it actually had really nothing to do with physical. It was really all mental.
The mental aspect's really what people don't even realize. The mental aspect's really what pulls people in.
Yep.
Right, because you don't realize it until you start doing it and feeling that good that you actually feel that good, and it's not as cliche as everybody makes it seem to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and like I said, for me, it always starts out physical. Like, and I think for a lot of people, it does. Like, I think that you're essentially kidding yourself if there's not a physical goal at the end of it. But then what you realize is, like, it just for your mental health, it feels so good. It's
really a 2-for-1, and I would imagine for the most part, everybody wants to lose a little bit of weight, right? Yeah. Everybody wants to or gain some muscle, so you're going up or down on the scale.
Yeah.
Or you want to look a certain way, right? Whatever it may be. You want your arms to be bigger, you want your legs to be bigger, right?
There's normally something, that initially gets you into doing it. But like, again, for me,
this chair is very squeaky. I apologize if you can hear that.
You just ran over my toe.
As well, if you don't have your toe and the chair squeaks less, then that's perfect. I apologize for the chair, not for the toe. The toe's okay.
And so, running. So I started with, not that I didn't lift, because I did, but I was training for a half marathon. So I, just like I had this breakup, and I like went a little bit like, I think I had this like real like life realization. I quit my job. I went to Italy for 2 weeks, and I decided to run a half marathon. So it just like kickstarted.
It's a very early midlife crisis to go through.
So it just kickstarted this what I had originally thought my life was going to be like. Just turned out nothing like it actually is. And obviously, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have met my lovely co-host and husband that's sitting right next to me.
You're the co-host also. Also, you are welcome for you left out the part that when you met me, we continued to work out, right?
Yes, I was getting there.
Sorry, hold on. That's right. We're talking. I'm jumping. You're only going to do the starting portion, right?
Yeah.
This is what got you started. Yeah. Don't jump into the maintenance yet. And I know I'm part of the maintenance.
Yeah. Okay.
So
that's really what got me started was just how I felt mentally really is what kept me going in those beginning stages.
Yeah, again, I feel like that's what a lot of people do. So my story is 50-50, and I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty details. That is the extensive background is for...
I just told my whole life story.
the extensive background on why I got started really is for another day. Trust me, it'll take up a lot of your time. It's a lot of information. Also, we don't talk about it very often. But long story short, I got started. All right, I'm done. Now, I started because I really needed a change. My first thought, and I did, the physical was an afterthought. So I was, I will post I'll post a picture again of the difference from 8 months of me working out, where you can see that I physically was basically just skin and bones, right? And that's what people would tell me. And before that, I would have been like, I don't know what you're talking about. But then after, the 8 months, which it took 8 months to put on muscle, by the way. So if you're one of those people that takes forever to just keep going, okay? But after seeing the difference, I was like, wow, I really was skin and bones. It's like crazy to think. But the main reason I did it, so that was really the secondary reason. The main reason I did it was because I could feel my cognition was just suffering. I couldn't remember anything. I couldn't remember people's names. I still can't remember people's names. The names was really difficult, but I couldn't remember anything. I felt like I was off at all times. I just felt like I was cognitively just foggy at all times. And
he's so foggy, which is why I had to help him with words.
Correct. Foggy at all times. And I also wanted to increase my health. I didn't really at the time know what was going on or why, but I knew that I probably was more tired than I should be all the time, and my health is probably not as good. I was eating junk and drinking junk and doing this, doing that. And so I wanted to clean up my health too, right? And what's a good way to do that? Everybody says fitness, going to the gym. So that's what I did. I did bring a buddy. That's in a different episode, right? You can go back and I'll put a link in the description for those who are listening on the podcast platforms. But I did start with a partner. That's definitely a good way to start. And I kept going. Now, before that, I quit several times because I didn't see any benefit in going to the gym, right? And that's what happens to a lot of people. There's no benefit. I didn't have any kind of goals in mind when I was going to the gym. I was just going because that's what I was told I should do. Mostly because I was playing sports at the time. I'm technically doing sports now, but that's different. But that wasn't really a necessary goal of mine, right? Because I was still good at the sports. I played soccer, and I was still good at it. And even though the strength would have severely helped me, right, I was still one of the, better of the. I don't know how to say that, but I was pretty good. Okay. So in my mind, I also had an inflated ego at the time. So in my mind, I was like, I don't really need to work out that hard, which made me quit all the time. I didn't really have a goal. I didn't really care to gain muscle, right? So and I didn't really even realize anything about health at the time. So I just figured I stayed up all night playing video games. That's why I was tired, right? Which is probably 90% of it. But I quit several times before I actually really did get started. And this time I got started. Thankfully, my partner really helped me. My friend, she's my partner. Sorry, my friend. He was a gym partner. That's why I said that. He was my first partner. Cat's out of the bag. Cat is out of the bag. My first partner. Luckily, my friend was there for a while, and then he dropped off. But I continued because after the first couple of weeks, it wasn't weeks. It was like months. First couple of months. Because when you first start, you don't go continuously, right? That's not how that works. You don't just go 0 to 60 and then continue and like, I'm really good at this. No, you go back and forth. Anyways, after the first couple months, I really did. Maybe it was like a month. I really did see the difference. I felt the difference. Because I was running too. I was doing very, very light cardio, maybe like half a mile at first. I thought I was doing much more, but my calculations were very, very off. And my buddy could tell you that. We thought we were running 5Ks. We were running much, much less than 5Ks, okay? And it was surprising how fast we were, too. I was like, wow, we are really fast. I was wearing these big-ass skate shoes, right? So it's like...
Oh, God.
Yeah, not...
And those,
that's the kind of...
those big basketball shorts.
And those those weight-down basketball shorts, which, by the way, I ran my first OCR race in it. I weighed an extra 25 pounds. I couldn't even believe how freaking heavy that stuff was. I was like, this was a really bad idea. And we wear I wore 2 baggy shirts basically because I was like, one's going to get wet. Right? But the one underneath's not. So that's cool. Anyways. Yeah, I converted into a runner. I have running shoes now, by the way. But yeah, so I did. Yeah, dad running shoes. Cool. But I felt the difference, and that's really what hooked me was that it was really increasing my cognitive performance. Right, I felt like I wasn't as foggy anymore. I was doing other things like fixing nutrition. It's a health and wellness journey anyway. So my nutrition I was fixing at the same time. I cut all fast food and all soda, which I was drinking quite a bit of, and I started working out and running periodically. So, and just the feelings of that. And again, it took me 8 months, right? But we'll get into the maintenance after that. But it took me 8 months to see progress. So for those who, and by progress, I'm talking not the feeling wise, right? I'm talking muscle, right? The ability to transform my body. Some people's bodies are just like that, okay? And you can't let that discourage you. We'll get into that into the maintenance. So I'll touch on that a little bit on how that ties in. But that's basically how I got started. It was the physical was on the back burner, but the mental has always been my priority because I want to be, as cognitively with it as possible, right? Because that really, I feel like that is just slightly above the physical level, right, in life, because I don't know, right? I don't know.
I mean, yeah.
It depends on the
I think the
depends on the
aspects fade.
It depends on the actual situation, but that's all situational. Obviously, if you are trying to be a football player, right, you definitely need the physical level much more. Sure. Well, that's not true. It's very, very technical, but you need it probably slightly more, right, than you do the cognitive performance boost, right? But for me personally, the cognitive boost is always number one.
Makes sense.
So let's get into maintenance. What kept you going? So what were the things that kept you going? Did you have goals set in mind at the beginning? Did you have goals? Do you have goals? You're currently still doing it. So, right, your health and wellness journey. Do you have goals set now, and have they, changed over time, right? And, anything in regards to what keeps you going?
Yeah. So, after I think that once you start racing or doing like a type of goal like setting, it really becomes addictive. And so I ran, so like I said, I had run other races and half marathons prior to the one that really made my journey stick. And I think it was like just the time in my life, I needed it. And then after I did it, like you hate it the entire way. And then at the end, you're like, oh my gosh, that was the best thing I ever did, and I cannot wait to do it again. And it is just like this high and like just this adrenaline rush that you just like can't explain unless you've done it. And again, it sucks for a half marathon. It's 13.1 miles. It sucks the entire 13 miles, and then that last 0.1 is like, man, this is good. I'm really glad I did this. That last 0.1,
the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, it really like seals it in. And it was really like after that, then my mom actually was like, you know what, I want to do one. And so then we started training for that, and I started dating you. And then we started on doing Spartan races. I think he touched on it maybe last episode or a couple episodes ago, that he basically was just like, hey, I really want to do a Spartan race. And I was like, okay, well, let's do it.
It's more like you're doing it with me.
And I was like, okay.
I'm doing a Spartan race and you're coming with.
So I was like, sure, okay. And it was very nerve-wracking. We had no idea what to expect, but we did it together, so it definitely makes it less nerve-wracking because you have somebody with you.
Did you yell at me? Yeah, the first one she did.
Probably.
She yelled at me.
I think I've yelled at you every single one we've done. There was one time I sneezed in his face because I was so mad at him about something. I don't remember what I was so mad at you about.
That's illegal. That's actually illegal now. You can't do that. Yes, that's a true story. She did do that. And before you go any further, you said that you hated the half marathon all the way up until the end, and then you wanted to do it again, right?
Yeah.
If you want to feel that, and you want to have fun, and you just want to break yourself, I highly recommend a Spartan Beast. It is a half marathon, and it's up and down mountains, and they have obstacles in between. Yeah. Highly recommend it. Seriously, great. You'll do dozens.
But yeah, and so then every one we did, just kind of kept us going and going and going, and you get addicted to it. You get addicted to that feeling of satisfaction, and it's like, even if you don't get to do all the obstacles, like, I by no means am, some like Olympic athlete that, can accomplish all of these. That was really squeaky. I can't do all of the obstacles. Like, there are just some that I can't. And that's okay. And it is just a fun thing. And no matter what, no matter how many obstacles you do, no matter if you run it, whether you walk it, whether you jog it, you do a combination of all three, you will never feel more accomplished than running a race. Or doing something like that. And so that really is what it started out. And so just having a partner, again, just, and somebody that their fitness journeys are aligned. So that's helped me. So although we have different goals, our, ultimate and underlying goal is we want to feel good. We want to live a long, healthy life. And now we want to share that with our daughter and our future children. And so that's really kept us, going, as far as, health and wellness is a lifestyle. So, we've always tried, or especially me, I've always tried to make healthy meals. And I say especially me because I mostly do the cooking. He would not eat as well as he did if he wouldn't have basically moved into my apartment about a month after we started dating.
I had to watch your cat.
Yeah.
And then she became my cat, so I had to see her every day to make sure she was okay.
So he watched my cat once, and then he never left my apartment, and now we're married. And so, pro tip for anybody.
Seriously, if there's a girl you want to marry, watch her cat while she is away.
Yeah, I was away on a work trip, and then, he just pretty much never left.
She was like, man, I need somebody to watch my cat. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. On those specific days, I have nothing to do at all. Actually, I think my job doesn't need me as well. I will totally watch her cat.
But we made a lot of meals ourselves, and, we just tried to be as health conscious as possible. And, it always changes, some days we eat cake more than others, sometimes we like junk food more than others, but ultimately...
Touched on that in many episodes.
Yes,
we have a whole episode on that. It's
but,
okay to splurge sometimes.
Yes,
eat some
but
cake.
yeah, but ultimately we've always stayed aligned in our fitness journeys. And I might have said it in an episode prior, but our daughter is with somebody in the gym, at least. So we have a gym downstairs right now. We don't take her to the gym. At least, yeah, we could at least once a day, and with one of us. And it really just, so for me, that was so impactful. And, oh my God,
I know,
sure.
I'm just moving forward.
And so, like, that was really impactful for me growing up, was having a mom that always, like, prioritized, like, health and wellness. And so, you know, she always made our, you know, like, not always, we, you know, sometimes had pizza and fast food, but a majority of the time she cooked. She made our lunches. She went to the gym. She wanted us to play sports. She always facilitated us to do physical activities. And so having that be something for our daughter is really crucial and important for me. And it motivates me to maintain my physical health and for my mental health. I think that we are better parents when we prioritize our mental health. And so for us, that is working out. That is maintaining a physical routine. And, as parents, as partners, whether you're a parent or whether you are a husband or a wife or a partner to somebody, prioritizing your mental health is so crucial for your relationships. So,
yeah, mental health is a very, 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 very large aspect. I've said that before. I've said it a million times. I'll always say that. But yeah, that is all. Yeah. Yeah.
So pretty much, I just summed up your maintenance journey with mine because we're like the same people.
Basically, but not even close. Yeah. Well, my maintenance kind of goes hand in hand with what I said and with what you said a little bit. Except I'm gonna get into the nitty gritty on why my maintenance is so hardcore maintained. And okay. The main difference is that let me go into a little background. I might have said this, but I can't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, I need to work out hard. Obviously, my cognition isn't 100% there. Things are foggy, right? Good word. Glad I thought of that. One of the things about me. Okay, so I was 8 months in, right? Started to see progress, but I was getting bored, right? Like I'm just going to the gym, working out, and then it's just like, okay, cool. Now I'm done. Like I know I really enjoy this part of the cognition and all that stuff, but I need to compete in something. That is my personality. I need to be competing at something, right? And so I was thinking about, you know what? Maybe I'll start doing physique competitions, right? I'll start doing bodybuilding because I was in the gym all the time. The gym I was in was a very small gym, not many people there, but there was some big dudes in there, and they were bodybuilders, right? Some of them. So I was like, all right, maybe I'll do that. And then
you would look great.
Not happening. Then I realized I'm not going to take my shirt off, so it's probably not going to work out very well. But no, that's part of it. But what really happened was that I saw it wasn't Spartan Race, but it was the World's Toughest Mudder, almost the same thing, but a little different. But the World's Toughest Mudder is. That's
what I tell our daughter anytime she wants what we're eating. Give her something else, and I say it's the same, but it's different.
It's the same.
It's just actually different. Really different.
But I saw the World's Toughest Mudder on. Oh, I wasn't even watching it. I walked in, and my stepdad was watching it, which I thought, he was watching it, and I was like, wow, what the hell is this? They were running at night, which I was like, that's cool. They had 2 pairs of shoes, most of them. They had one they were wearing and one around their neck. And the one part that I walked into, these people ran. They jumped into a pit of water, okay? The water apparently was about 50, 40 degrees. Some of it was freezing, right? Maybe even lower than that. And then they climbed up this, 12-foot ladder that had...
Don't they call that the Shriveled Richard?
Shriveled Richard, yeah. I tried skipping that one once. It's an actual obstacle, by the way.
It's really the name of it.
In Savage Race, I think it was. But they climbed up this 12-foot ladder with, it was 60 to 100, I don't remember, 60 to 100 PSI worth of the same water just shooting down on them. And then they had to go up, and then they jump off into another pit of water. And I was like, that is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I want to do that. I want to run. I want to do these obstacles. I want to get hammered with water. I want to be freezing for a while. I want to be miserable, and then I want to keep going. And then, succeed at that. And then that's when I started racing. And then I was like, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to compete. And weird thing to want to do, considering I was running in skate shoes at the time, right? And I was doing less than a 5K, which I just specified, thinking I was doing a 5K. And
that's the worst. I think I've done that on treadmills before. I'm like, running 3 miles.
We were running so 5K is 3.1. We were running it was 2.2, right? A little under. And we were running really fast. It was 5K in 16 minutes. I was like, whoa, at the time. I was like, that's really fast. As a matter of fact, that's really fast.
I feel like we should go out for world,
so we signed up
records.
Yeah, well, we signed up for the Elite Wave.
The Olympics.
The Elite Wave. It was the only one, and the Olympics. They didn't let us in, which I thought was weird with that time. But we couldn't prove it, so that was the problem. But yeah, so competing is really, and then I did a race with the same buddy. He did it, even though he didn't want to. With my partner. And even though he really, really, really didn't want to at the time. But it was so close, and it was actually pretty cheap. But the only wave was the Elite Wave. The Elite Wave is the one that the fast run, right? We weren't that fast.
And then these two losers.
We got passed by. Oh my God! No, I had running shoes at the time. No, they were street shoes. They were flat street shoes. Right? We get up to it was the second obstacle. I think it was third because we ran bleachers. That counted as one. Then we jumped over something. It was like hay. And then we got to the Jacob's ladder. Up the ladder, slipped, almost died. I was like, wow, great. These aren't shoes for this kind of event. That's awesome. And my buddy was like, oh my God. It looks like you broke your arm. Is your arm okay? And my arm was gone, but I was like, no. Yeah, I'm great. Let's go. And so I mean, after doing that, I was like, I need to do harder races, right? And my buddy was like, no, not doing it.
It's like a near-death experience wasn't quite enough for me.
It was I
need to actually die.
I can't even put into words how fun OCR races, obstacle course races are. Okay, I highly recommend it to everybody. It is it's not the most mentally demanding, I'm sure, but it is probably one of the most mentally demanding things you will do. And after you complete it, like Christina said, you don't even have to run it, right? It's not an actual race for most people. People just want to complete it, which is what we did on our first one. We wanted to see if we can complete it. Obsessed. Yep. It is one of the most fun and exhilarating things. And like I said, my first beast that I ran was by myself. She couldn't go. She was doing work. I did this beast in New Jersey, right? 13.1 miles by myself. And I'm not training, right? I think my training was an average of 2 miles 5 times a week, right? 2 miles. This was 13.1 up a freaking mountain. Mm-hmm. The first, it was like 8 miles. I was like, moderately hated it, and then after the 8th mile, and this was actually their version of measuring the miles is severely off. So this one actually was, they said about 15 something miles, right? And for mile, it was like mile 8 on. Oh my God, my legs were brutally on fire. I hated every second of it. I thought about just every time I saw one of those paramedic people, I thought about saying, I'm missing a leg. Take me down to the end, which you don't get your medal for. But I was like, I want that medal. I want to bite it like everybody else does. Mm-hmm. Right? And I got through it. And then after I got through it, I was like, this was the greatest thing I've ever done. Mm-hmm. I can't wait I don't even care if Christina joins me ever again. I want to do another beast. And I'm going to beat that time of 6-something hours that took me to do that beast. By the way, you might think 6 hours is a long time. Go ahead and do it, and let me know how long it actually feels. I felt like I was on a mountain for 4 days. But competing really is what keeps me going. As a matter of fact, a very, very good example of that is the pandemic. The pandemic canceled Spartan races the whole year in 2020, which I qualified for the Elite Wave for, which you have to qualify now. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of a big deal, right? I got lucky, by the way, and all the races were canceled, so my motivation started dwindling. Right, I need that motivation. And there's nothing else I can compete at except against myself, which is a really good motivator, right? To be able to compete against yourself, but that's only gonna, unfortunately for me, only gonna carry me so far. Yeah. So I need that competition to be able to. And I need that really heavy goal.
With him, but then he would just cry about it.
Yeah, I'm sick of crying, dude. I don't want to get beat by my wife again. So the maintenance mode really keeps me, really the competition, and what goes hand in hand with that, and another thing that keeps me really going, like for my whole overall health and wellness journey is my aspiration, right? That's the right word, right? I use it right. I would have cut it out if I didn't. To be a biohacker. If you don't know what that is, I am going to be explaining that on my personal YouTube. It's just biohacking is basically naturally optimizing your body. So my aspiration to really just get the title of biohacker, which I think would be pretty cool, which is pretty hard to do. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, and like paying attention to all that stuff is really difficult. But that keeps me going too, because I want to be, I want my body to be 100% optimized. Right now, according to my blood panel, it's 84%. 84 is not 100. So I got some work to do, and it makes it tough because my sweet tooth is just so heavy. Mm-hmm. But that's basically, and that obviously goes hand in hand with keeping my cognition very up there and at an all-time high. And yeah, my lack of sleep doesn't help, but you need your cognition, especially if you're going to do a podcast like this. So yep. That's my maintenance.
It has actually nothing to do with family, I guess. Awkward.
Yeah,
you didn't mention us one time.
I don't need my cognition for you guys. It comes naturally. I'm just a natural caretaker. But yeah. So, and then we'll go into, future goals. Like, what kind of future goals do you have right now, or do you see yourself potentially setting in place in regards to your health and wellness? It could be fitness related, it could be nutrition, it could be anything.
So future, I mean, right now I would agree that it definitely is hard to, for me, it's been hard to maintain the same level of fitness I was 2 years ago. One, I had a baby, and so
you did?
Yes,
congratulations.
Thank you. And so I did not run Spartan races, obviously, the entire 9 months that I was pregnant, and we had her in March of 2020, so right smack in the beginning of the pandemic, and then I obviously have not run a Spartan race since, so it's definitely been challenging to maintain the same level of motivation that I had a couple years ago. My goal is to be able to run one again, and I think more realistic right now, just trying to, we are going to continue to have more kids. In case you didn't know, we're going to have another one.
I didn't even know we had one already.
And so
I'm going for the beach bod. Get it in while I can.
And so, I'm trying to really just, somebody once told me that, pregnancy and having a baby is just like running a marathon. You have to prep your body, you have to train your body, and obviously,
I did say that, yeah.
giving birth is the finish line. And so that's, I guess, my current goal is to just continue to be in a good physical and mental place, to continue to have kids, to raise our daughter, and to be able to just have a healthy pregnancy when I do get pregnant again. And then long term, I mean, I want to run another half marathon, maybe a marathon, and continue to do Spartan races. For us, I think that's a great part of our relationship, is that we enjoy doing those things together. It's always, I think, been a test to our relationship. And
oh yeah.
And
we'll go into a Spartan race, just a whole storytelling of that.
Yeah, but it's always been a really good test of our relationship. So, and it's something that we enjoy doing together. So,
I will say that land. Well, it's all on land. So, road running half marathons or marathons, not really my forte. I needed to be split up by stuff that is just difficult, right? It needs to be split up. Running on the road, that gets me into the I don't like this kind of movie. We did do the half marathon, and I really enjoyed it up until the rain at the end.
Oh gosh, it was raining. It was terrible.
I will admit I didn't like it most of the time. I'm not gonna lie. So that one's not 100% for me. But you did just bring up. I just want to touch on that. You said something about being pregnant and keeping a healthy body. That brings me to, we should do a topic on that, and we will, on pregnancy and the importance of maintaining a health and wellness routine. And obviously that is all
anecdotal.
Well, that's technically technically proved by a lot of doctors.
Oh, well, yeah.
And statistically speaking, on the statistics behind the statistics. So,
that he doesn't have.
Well, I have the statistics. Yeah, just
he will
in another notebook. In another notebook. But no, that's incredibly important.
Yeah.
I was gonna say individual variances on that, right? Obviously, some people have underlying health, so take what I said with a grain of salt, okay? Until the episode, and then take it again with a grain of salt. But yeah, Spartan races are what keep me going. So my first one's gonna be in June, right? I do have some on my personal. I'm starting to do some vlogs, right? And I have made some episodes of the vlog that go over my journey. And if you follow me, you'll notice that I'm not training very hard. So, and now you know in the podcast. And my first one is not only a Spartan race in June, which is almost, I mean, we're almost just coming up on a single month of training, right?
And it's a beast.
It's all three. It's the beast, which is a half marathon. It's a sprint, which is a 5K, and it's a super, which is a 10K. It's literally all three in one weekend. The beast being one day. So on a Saturday, I'm doing a 13 miler, right? And then on Sunday, I'm doing. We
normally do this one together.
Yeah, I'm doing a. They changed the out layout, and we usually do this venue together. But so my first one is not just one race; it's 3 races in one weekend, which I don't normally do. As a matter of fact, I don't. Have I done a trifecta in one weekend? Where?
I forget, but I know you did.
We're gonna look back on this. We'll let you guys know. Yeah. I don't think I did.
No, you definitely did. I remember. I just don't remember where, but I know you did.
Mind-boggling. Anyway, so the Spartan races are Spartan races are really my goal. So my goal, and it's been my goal for a while, right? Is I'm not right, like you guys know. I want an invite to that Spartan Pro team. Okay, that's my goal. I made the Elite Wave. I need, even though I still have plenty of time, right? I'm young. Okay, yeah. I'm getting older, but I'm still in my prime, I think. But I want that invite to the pro team, right? Mm-hmm. And I want to just maintain. Basically, what I want to do is maintain my muscle and my health and be able to move. And my very, very long-term goal, this is what really keeps me going, is that I should have said this in maintenance too, is that I want to be able to, when I'm very old, right, and I have great-grandchildren, I want to be able to talk to them and understand them. I don't want to be in a state of, severe decay where my mind has gone and I can barely move and stuff. I want to be able to, now great-grandchildren might be an exaggeration, but that's the goal, right? So that's a good goal to have because that'll really keep me for the long term, improving my health, improving my cognition, improving my, my physical being. So with the Spartan races, getting an invite to that pro team, and the very, very long term goal being a very good one, I think, for me personally. That's my goals, right? So I think unless you have anything else, we can wrap up this very long episode. This long episode is okay though because our past couple ones have been a little short. So I do apologize.
I think this was a good episode. It was nice and chit-chatty.
I think this was a great episode.
I think it was one of our best.
This might be the best episode we've ever had. With that, we are going to end this episode, okay? I thank you for all who have tuned in. We recorded this one live on Twitch and YouTube. Thank you for those who are listening on the podcast platform after the fact. Those who are watching live and watching on YouTube, over here on your left are all of our links in the description.
I got it right last time.
I know, you did it wrong. It's opposite, okay? And all you got to do is point to me. Look, just see, realistically, point to me and then over here. And then if you're listening on the podcast platform, all the links will be in the description. We'll put a link to the one episode that I referenced as well. I don't even remember what that is, but I'll re-listen to this and put a link into it. I'll reference that. And then we're having a little bit of a schedule change, so I should have started with this, but I didn't. Starting from Wednesday the 28th. Am I getting this right? I looked it up before that.
Yep.
Wednesday the 28th. The time is changing. Our episodes will be recorded live at 9 p.m. Eastern. No longer 7:30. We're pushing back an hour and a half. This is going to keep the episodes consistent. Okay, so they're going to be recorded live. I'm not going to say there's not going to be any inconsistencies, but there's not going to be as many. Okay, so 9 p.m. Eastern, April 28th. Is going to be our next episode, and it'll be a follow-up to this one, which is very exciting. And again, thank you all for tuning in. My name is also Jay, or hallucinodream. All of our links will be in the description. My links. And my lovely official host, apparently, Christina.
I'm the host. You're the co-host.
That's right. And her links are MIA. And thank you again.
Bye.